Oh, so the Czech OM-90 came today, which is totally not a S10 ripoff, as you can tell. It's even got that bit the same shape as the S10, except for it's solid plastic, not, transparent plastic. So well done to the people who ripped it off. So I'm not going to be on ages for this stream because I was on earlier, but I thought I'd do another one just because this mask came. Also noticed that the filter looks like a ripoff of the S10 filter as well. So, well done, Czechoslovakia. They, I suppose this is Czech Republic, technically, this mask, but, it was basically, we've ripped off the M17, now let's rip off the S10. No, Ghost, it is not. Yeah, I'm alright today. I've not been doing much. Is the voice diaphragm alright on this? But basically, it was, the field of view isn't awful because the bits sit quite close to the eyes, but the only problem is this bit, look, is solid plastic, whereas the S10 is actually transparent now. So the issue is that you actually do get a lot more ghosting in the middle of this mask because obviously that's quite a solid bit of sort of rubber and plastic there. Didn't hear anybody clapping. I was listening to the thing on the radio and did a bit of that TM selection, but nobody was clapping near me. This is a NATO mask because it's the post-communist one. This is just the Czech filter that came with it. Oh, good. So it's got a better voice diaphragm than the S10 then. But other than that, I can't think of much it does better. It's an alright mask in all honesty. But in terms of, being an original mask, it's just an S10 ripoff, really, isn't it? My shums is a size 2, I think. Clapping for the NHS workers and all the healthcare workers. That's nice, Ben. Sadly, there's none of that going on here. I did a little clap before I started the stream. That's why I was a few minutes late going on, but nobody else was doing it. But then again, they're probably the same people just walking around in the streets, aren't they, when they're told to stay in their fucking houses? And there you go. Thank you very much, Eltrix. I appreciate it. As in Jack Daniels and Coke. I prefer rum and Coke. I had that earlier, but... the only thing I find uncomfortable with this is the nose cup's a bit small for my nose. And the drinking tube is poking me in the face all the time. It was brand new in the sense it was sealed in a plastic bag and I had to rip everything open when I got it. So I've got an unboxing sort of video coming out on it tomorrow. But in terms of when were these made, the 1990s, because they're a Czech S10 ripoff, basically. So if I just undo the straps. Oh, it just looks like an S10, but not an S10. And that's why it looks weird, because it's like a pseudo S10. But if you look at the inside of it, it's basically, internally, it is exactly like an S10. It's just, the issue is, the main one is, oh look, it would cost too much to make proper lenses like the S10's lenses, so let's make much smaller eyepieces. So yeah, it's... I know you meant Jack Daniels, but as I said, I don't really drink it. No, it's not a Myra. It's a Czech OM-90. It's one of the masks Myra just makes and sells for, inflated prices. No, not in person. Nobody in person gives a shit about that. I don't know why it's a weird thing on the internet. Who are you on about, Laura? Weird comment. Have you made a previous comment in the chat? No. The person I just blocked was saying I was going around infecting people on purpose. Fucking bizarre person. Well, I've not got a Scott FFR, but it seems a bit pointless to buy one if you've already got a GSR, because it's the same mask, just in the 40mm version, isn't it? For all the new people here, it's fucking obvious if you've been here for a while. I don't want to get annoyed, but it's just there's a couple of weird commenters on already. So I'd rather just talk about stuff actually to do with the stream and what's going on, other than, do you like this? Do you like that? If it's FF3 as in P3, yes, it'll be fine. That's good, Rajiv. Sadly, nobody here was doing it. I clapped a bit, but nobody was. Everybody was just like, I guess they're the same people I said who are going out and, not doing anything. Oh, yeah, it's going to get much worse, Adam, because sadly, all the measures being put in place are too little too late. So if you think Italy's bad, wait till you see England in a couple of weeks. And I don't want to say that to be like a doomsayer. I just literally think that's going to be how it goes. There's not an adapter to 60 to 40 millimeter GOS. There's a 60 to 40 millimeter adapter. I don't know why you'd want it to go to 40 millimeter GOS anyway. Thank you again, Altrix. Yeah, it's getting worse. I haven't seen too much in the US other than Trump saying, "Oh, it's not going to be bad," all that sort of stuff. But when it clearly is getting worse. But yeah, in the UK, it's certainly getting worse just because they're, as I said, doing too little, too late. Goffs in the Elite said hospital staff in Sweden going to start working without masks because they aren't needed. That's stupid. Before in Sweden, they saying that they were going to give them old military like Fushida masks and stuff, and I thought that was a good idea. But yeah, if they're now saying, "Oh, you don't need masks," they'll be infected, and then they'll infect other people, or they'll die. So yeah, that's not great. Adam said, just snagged an S10 for £66. Any idea why the lenses are inner circles? What do you mean this bit? On an actual S10, it's so you get better peripheral vision, as in you can see like that way a bit more. There's less ghosting in the middle. That's the only reason they're like that. I think somebody, Druid H, is doing that, who comments on the videos quite a lot, saying they're trying to make a refillable filter because they asked what might be good features for it. Yeah, let's see if today's figures are out for the US. But right, USA 80,854. So the US now has more infections than Italy. Brilliant. I mean, I know a lot of that was because they weren't testing for ages, but the death count's going to be higher in the US as well, especially with the US healthcare system of, you have to pay for everything. Get people in debt because they're poor and they can't afford good healthcare. Yeah, that's going to be pretty awful, isn't it? Let's try not to be too negative at least, but yeah, it's sort of crazy how fast the US cases are ramping up. Wow, China's numbers are bullshit, as we all know anyway, because China's numbers are basically pretending that nothing happened. Isn't it something like 20 million less people are using mobile phones in China now? So that's probably 20 million dead people. I mean, I don't know if they've ever had drops in numbers like that historically, but if they haven't, you know why that is. Watch my videos, Leonis, because again, there's lots of different masks I'd recommend at different price points, and a lot of them aren't even available at the moment, so it's quite hard to say I just recommend this mask. Anyway, let's compare this, shall we, to a much better mask that's like a Gen 2 S10, because again, this is the Czech S10 ripoff, so I have to get the Chinese FMJ08 if I can at some point, which is a Chinese S10 ripoff, but there we go. So let's get this out. But yeah, for the people who weren't on the earlier stream and are asking what have I been doing today, fuck all really, because normally on Thursdays I volunteer with the Blue Cross, which is an animal charity. At the moment, all volunteers are told not to come in, so there's that. Right, so I know this isn't an S10, but right, what they've done, if you can see with the CT12 and this, is that basically, see where they've used hard plastic rather than clear plastic? Because that's done like that, so you get a better field of view, but on this one they've not done that. So yeah, now let's put this filter on the CT12. Try again. Yeah, that's more comfortable. and better field of view, because again, lenses sit closer to the eyes and they're clear plastic there, so you only get a tiny little band in the middle of your vision there compared to this giant thing. This isn't a bad mask though, this one, but it's, yeah, the CT12 is definitely better. Not in the UK you wouldn't be asked to run, but I don't think that's ever been the case in the UK. Yeah, Amira charges way too much money for them, so there you go. This one was about 90 odd quid with the bag, the weird NBC suit thing it came with, and the filter. And it was still sealed in its plastic packaging before I opened it. Right, actually, tell you what I'm going to do. Let's take this off a second. Let's do this so we can breathe a bit easier. And I'll actually get that screwing in. It's actually quite hard to do it with the angles on this, because it's so flat. But I'm not sure which way I meant to be screwing it either. I'll go back to the chat anyway. I don't actually know, Druid. You'd have to ask people really into the mechanics of rubbers for that. I could not tell you if butyl is better than silicon or whatever for cold weather. You know, I could not tell you in that regard. So yeah, notice how much the filter that comes with this, the OM-10 looks like an S10 ripoff. It's like everything about it had to be ripped off. All right, I'm glad to hear that, Gregory. But yeah, let's put the better mask back on with dual filters. Yeah, I've got a CM5 on order and another CM4. Might just hand them out to people, but I want to review the CM5 and I want to see if I can get a CM4 that actually fits me properly. What type of mask is it, Henry? If it's UV damage, you basically won't get them out. If it's a GP5 or something, that's where the rubber's permanently damaged. You could try rubbing it with an eraser. I know that might sound stupid, but it might take just an ever so slight top layer of rubber off. Never used it, so what do I think of a Reddit I've never used and never intend to use? Don't know, sounds like cancer. Thank you, 66 Jet. Or sorry, 666 Jet. He said Tesco's aren't allowing employees to wear any masks. That's really stupid. In some pharmacies I've been in, there's employees with masks and gloves and gowns on, but yeah, their staff are just going to get infected. And in the UK supermarkets, you tend to get quite a lot of old people that work there. And the last time I was in Sainsbury's, there was still old people working there with no PPE on whatsoever, so they're going to be dead, basically. It's depressing, but if your company just treats you like that, that's shit. So your local Tesco's does have masks, Rajiv. That seems weird. So is it a company policy or a manager policy? Right, let me add you on. He's dual filtering with the Czech ripoff of an S10 filter and an actual S10 filter. So, yeah, right, let me add you on Discord, 666, yeah. As said, though, I'm not going to be on this stream for all that long tonight because, you know, I was up earlier, did a stream for the Aussies. I might keep this mask on for the remainder of the stream. And Newt's doing a great job, as always, keeping track of donations for me. Oh, yeah, the new keyboard arrived. Let me show it you. Just a second, because for those of you that didn't catch it, very sadly, my IBM Model M, one of the keys started dying the other day. So I had to get a replacement keyboard. It's all right. It's mechanical. It's very good for the price. There we go. It's a Aukey, AUKEY. So for the price, this is quite a good keyboard, actually. And it's mechanical. So it's got, you can see the clickety-click proper keys, but they're not buckling springs like the old ones. They're like a different kind of mechanical. But, you know, at least it's a mechanical keyboard. I cannot stand rubber dome keys anymore. They're just awful. But it's no Model M, but it will do. I'm just getting used to it. It's because it's smaller than the Model M. The Model M was like wider than it. But yeah, they're only 35. I think actually no, I think this is $39.99 this keyboard. So £40 for mechanical isn't bad. The mouse I've got is just a TrackNet one. It's not amazing, it's just perfectly adequate, but I've never found mice to really need anything other than an optical or a laser. Let me look up a Unicomp Model M. Is it a rip-off of the IBM? As you can hear, this does make the proper typing noises. So, is this a modern production Model M by the look of it? They look quite nice. But, or was it just one of the company's IBM license to make Model M's? Unknown says, have you heard of new Hantavirus? I heard a couple of people mention it in the thing earlier, but I haven't actually ever looked into it, so let's look into it now and I'll read it out. Hantavirus. Hantavirus is a genus of single-stranded enveloped negative sense RNA viruses in the family Hantaviride of the order Bunialavirales. Right, what's it in English? Is there a page on it? The CDC has a page on it. But again, there's nothing easy to understand. Can somebody give me a retard-proof thing so I can understand it, please? Is it like the new coronary type thing that started as well? So it's a rat disease. Does it spread easily from rats to people, or is it at this stage quite isolated? But what you don't want is a second pandemic going around, and you've already got the first one. The easiest way to check Dave, is to put your hands over the filter intakes and try and breathe in. If it does that, pressurizes your face, it's airtight. If it doesn't, it's actually quite hard to block these check filters properly. That's the easiest way of checking if it's airtight. Well, they said corona couldn't spread from person to person, didn't they, originally? And that turned out to be bullshit, so we'll see. So if you weren't on at the beginning, Mike, do you like my S10 ripoff? What does singing the alphabet have to do with anything to do with the stream? Sadly, at the moment, there's barely any masks I can recommend just because everything's selling out. I'd say just watch my old videos on masks and just start searching any of the ones you're interested in and see if you can find somewhere selling them. But yeah, it's not as good as the S10 and CT12s and all that, as I was saying, but it's interesting where they've ripped off the design. But of course, like I said, I prefer this design. I've got an M110 Bandit, which is pretty similar. So I've got the Scott M110, which is EM95 without the drinking tube, and I like that. Thank you again, Eltrix. Going crazy in what sense? Stay safe and snudge. Sadly not, Steve. It seems like it's got a blanking plug on that side, look. But when you try and undo it, no, it's just sealed in place. So they've done that shitty thing, I think, of, you know, oh, buy the thing for a different thing. Oh, is there a face form in here you can take out? Hang on. This might get... There's like a plastic thing in here I've just noticed. Let's have a look. I'm wondering if that is actually going to be more comfortable, if there's something I can take out of it. So let's have a look, because I've just noticed, even I've worn it. See that there's a plastic. Is that meant to be in there or not? Let's have a look. I mean, I know it's probably meant to be in there for storage, but are you meant to wear the mask with it in? See, there's a big plastic band type thing in there. I'm sure this is probably not meant to be in there then. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a face form. There we go. So let's take that out. So when I reviewed it, I had that in there and didn't even notice. Right, let's see what the mask's like without that in there. But again, that so there's actually an inlet valve on that side. Steve, but this is definitely just like almost glued in place, that valve. Right, that's squidgier to the face now, but it's no more or less comfortable in all honesty. But yeah, so yeah, that there wasn't meant to be a plastic face form in there, but I just didn't notice it because it was hidden around the sort of curve of the mask. But I'll take the filter back that goes with this mask. I'll pop that back in there. Let's see how easy it is to put a filter back on the mask when you're wearing it. That's easy, at least. Visibility is not as good as an S10 because, as said, they cheapened this out where they ripped it off. They didn't actually make that bit see-through plastic. It's got the exact optical bit as the S10, but only a much smaller lens. Yeah, I'm not throwing it away, Halon, but for the time being, I just want a keyboard. It's nearly always eBay rants. Just look on eBay. Unless you're buying directly from a hardware store, just use eBay. FM12 is much better because the FM12 sits closer to the face. So you've got a combination of a lens closer to the face with that bit there. No idea, Phoenix Winter, probably several grand. Well, at the moment, assuming that you could sell a single mask for like $100 each, probably like 15 grand, but I'm not going to do that because it's a dickish thing. No, sadly, it's got a valve in there like it is, but this seems to be glued in. I mean, I could try later getting that off with pliers, but I don't want to break anything. Let me actually, yeah, I'll have a quick go of pliers and just not grip very hard, as in, you know. Like, I'm not going to horribly twist it, but I'll put a bit of force on it. Oh, yep. So, yeah, ignore that in my review earlier. It is actually dual filter with a port, but I'll put that in the description of the video when I do it. Let's try it with dual filters. But yeah, the main issue being that, of course, it's one of those ones where the blanking plug was put so hard in the factory that whoever put this one together didn't want you getting it out, which would be brilliant in the field if you've not got a toolkit. So there we go. Yeah, this is dual filter. This came first, Tac Doc. Don't give Myra credit for it. Myra didn't invent it. Myra just literally claim they do when it's just a mask they made under license at one point. Well, the Polish SR1, it's alright, but it's just kind of a GP5 style mask. There's no real pros and cons to it. The only nice thing about the Polish SR1 is you can wear glasses under it because it seals at your neck, not at your thing. Only ones where there are optical inserts, Marcello, or things that seal at the neck, but the real answer is not really no. No, I'm not prepper. Czech CM4 sizes are a bit weird because I think there might even be like 7 or 8 sizes for the CM4s. Well, this one was overpriced and I paid £100 for this brand new with the filter, with the bag, with an NBC suit and all that. So if Myra are charging hundreds of dollars for it, it's a ripoff. Is he watching the stream, Rich? I didn't see Donald Trump. Where's Trump then in the comments? I can't find that one, Rich, if there was somebody impersonating Trump. Thank you very much, Safi. He said, just wanted to say thanks for all the advice. My Fushida A4 arrived today. Also got a BLS 5002 Honeywell item for the family. Right, hope they're all good for you and everything. But yeah, Fushidas are lovely masks in terms of, you know, everything. With this mask, I actually do quite like this, I'm not going to lie. because this mask, again, it's kind of like a subpar S10, but S10 type masks are just really good, I find. Like, they seem to fit my face very well, but I suppose they were built for Anglo faces, weren't they? And, you know, I think they look quite cool, you know, inside and outside. But if you wanted to see what that looks like, as I said, the visibility on it isn't as good as a normal CT12 type mask or S10 or whatever, because it's got the plasticky. But this isn't a bad mask, don't get me wrong. If you can find one of these and it's less than an S10 or FM12, I don't think you'd be too disappointed with it. But as said, personally, it does just feel like a subpar one of these, in all honesty, where this has got a better field of view and everything. And because again, the thing see this kind of bit here, what they've done is they've copied that, but they've not made the like curved plastic of the lens. Yes, I have a SR1. Watch my video on it if you're interested in it. Yeah, the S10 is very good. There might be outserts. What for the Myra one? I've just got a funny idea. Let me get my S10. What I want to do is see if the S10 outserts fit this, in case they've directly copied the S10 plastic. You know, like they've taken an S10 and backwards engineered it. So let's find that out. I've got an S10 up here. I think this is the one with the outserts. Let's have a look. So yeah, this is obviously the mask. As you can see, they originally ripped off the S10 in terms of design. But yeah, this is what will be interesting. Will these clip on? Oh, look. What a surprise. They literally have copied an S10's eyepieces. So there you go. I don't know why this surprises me, but yes, the Myra things are a literal rip-off of the S10 bit, because yeah, you're correct. The S10 outserts. This isn't originally a Myra mask. How many times? It's a Czech mask that Myra built under license, and now Sal claiming they make a special, unique mask, and they don't. I've got a CM5 on order. No, these won't work on an FM12 because the FM12 has smaller eyepieces. But weirdly, they work on this mask because they've ripped off the S10's bit, but just not made it as well. Because this was the point I was making with the S10 look. It's got the big kind of bits there where it's actually translucent, where on these, it's just solid plastic. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think this looks quite cool, doesn't it? But it's a shame it's just an S10 ripoff. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Nebu Chadnazar. He said, what's the name of a Myra equivalent of a CM6M? I'll have to look it up. I really don't know anything about Myra masks, other than the fact most people avoid them like the plague. CM6M. I think so. I'm looking up centimeters at the moment. Let me just type in check. I mean, if it's called CM, wouldn't that be the original Czech one? Because most Czech masks have names like, you know, CM3, CM4, CM5. I don't know, you'd have to ask somebody, but looking at that always looks like a rip-off of the Scott M98 to me, that one. Which I've got behind me in the bag. But if you look up the Scott M98 or Scott Pro mask, to me, it does look just like kind of a Scott Pro mask. So again, it looks again like another mask. Buy the outserts for them, Azad. No, the closest I've got to a Darth Vader helmet is the Swiss M1918s. I've only got the bright yellow one here, but I could put the bright yellow one on. There you go. Let's see if I can get that down on there. It probably will go on with... hang on. Let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Would I recommend the OM-90? Well, my review comes out for it tomorrow. It's not awful. Depends on the price. I'd say get the S10 because it's just an S10 ripoff, really. But, you know, if you can get it for a decent price, it's not a bad mask because they've ripped off a good mask. But, you know. So there we are. Have I ever been to Chernobyl? Sadly not. We wanted to go this year, my family, but then, of course, with all the stuff that's going on now, there's no holidays for anybody. So there's that. That's good, Vadim. So I suppose you can get the mask itself for a decent price. What, 45 euros? That's not too much, is it? So, yeah. All right, Phoenix Winter, I'll do that for a video. Like the worst case scenario, because at the moment I'm just using a half face mask when I need to go out. But yeah, I could do a worst case scenario type thing. Thank you, Altrix. He said he's officially lost it because of all that banana oil. Oh, shall we test this actually works? Yeah, it works at least. The Sparrow, thank you very much. He said, what do you think of a dual port FM12 Avon hose on each side to your wide piece? Pointless but tactical, exactly. I mean, if you wanted to do that, and thank you for the donation, you know, it might be a good idea, but, you know, I don't see potentially why, you know, you'd need to go to that level. But yeah, if you wanted to go to that level, go to that level. Oh, Kane, I missed your thing. Thank you. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask. Let me try that again and see if I can do the Bane voice. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask. It's that weird Bane voice. I can't really do it. I don't even think Tom Hardy knew what he was doing when he did the Bane voice. But yeah, the review will be out on this tomorrow, but I do need to add a note to it that it does actually take 2 filters. Because when I did the review, I couldn't get the other filter port thing to unscrew, so I thought it was a bit like the S10. Where, you know, it's like a permanently fixed on thing. But that's a bit tight on my head, though, actually, saying that with this, so I'll take that off. I think it's because it's just... Actually, it's that that's... Ah, I see why that's uncomfortably tight. Look at that. There we go. It's not meant to be like that. Thank you again, Altrix. All I will say is this mask does kind of crush against your face a bit. It's not the most comfortable mask I've ever worn. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable either. It's like very skull crushery. Again, it might not be the perfect size for me, but saying that, my eyes do seem to be in the place they're meant to be on it. So. But then again, I suppose this isn't the most comfortable head thing in the world, is it? The strap system for that, so. Not that I've seen yet, Jack Guyver, but somebody's sending me one, so if the one he sends me is any good, I'll recommend it. A while ago, Toby, £50 to £100. Now you're probably looking at £100 to £200, sadly, because of how the market's going. How could it be a GP5 filter if it expired a couple of years ago? The GP5s haven't been made since like 1991. But yeah, I'll take this off now because this isn't all that comfortable. The problem with this is it's very skull crushery. It's hard to explain why, but it's just like one of those masks where it seems to put a lot of pressure on your skull around there. I know you could undo the strap a bit more, but yeah. But I think the funny thing we've learned is they literally did rip off the S10's thing because the S10 outserts fit on it. Look how well they fit, and they're not intended for this mask. So again, a bit like how they ripped the M17 off with the M10, the OM-90 is definitely an S10 ripoff because the S10 outserts actually fit on it and stay on. So there you go. But yeah, for the person who was asking about FM12s with S10 outserts, no, you need to get the actual S10 outserts. See how much smaller they are? They won't fit on because obviously the FM12 has got a smaller thing on there. If you want to see S10 vision, there you go. The yellow lighting in the background is quite cool, actually. I'm not going to lie. I do think that looks quite good on the camera, the red filter. But, yeah. Kind of looked like a 3M mask Putin was wearing with that orange sort of NBC suit. Yeah, so to answer you, although they don't fit on the FM12, the S10 outserts, although they fit a bit better on the S10, do fit the thingy bob. I know thingy bob's not a proper word, but they do fit the OM-90. I'll put the S10 on again because it's a classic for the rest of the stream before I go off. I'll only be on another 10 or so minutes, 10, 20 minutes. But yeah. So we've stopped talking about coronavirus, at least, because that's a bit depressing, even though it's what everybody probably wants to talk about. And we're now talking about S10 outserts and Myra and things like that, which I suppose isn't the worst thing in the world. But yeah, and oh, I've got a headache from that crushing my skull. Making up words? What are my made up words? What's Daniel Webster's Discord name though? Can he PM me? Because if he accepted it, I don't think he's PM'd me to say I'm Dan, can I have my invite? Yeah, he's not done it, so he needs to do that. Dan, if you're watching, PM me. PM me on Discord. If you've accepted my friend's request, say it's Dan, because otherwise I can't find you on my friends list. Yeah, when we tried to add you earlier, Handsome Nipple, your name wasn't done correctly. Yeah, there you go, Webster. Thank you. Let me invite you now. Yeah, for the other person, Handsome Nipple, I think when we tried to add you earlier, it said you aren't accepting friend requests. I'll try again in case you've changed it, but yeah. So you have your thing set up to accept friend requests, people can't invite you. Yeah, it says you're not accepting friends requests, so we're waiting at your end, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'll take this off again now, but yes, what we've learned is that the check mask is such a rip-off of the S10 that the S10 outserts fit on it. I use a HEPA filter, Vadim. I mean, eventually if you move loads and loads of stuff around, you will have to dust, yeah, but I just have a HEPA filter running in the room most of the time and the PC, so most of the dust gets sucked onto those, and then you just take them outside and vacuum them. Do I have an FAC? No, and I wouldn't apply for one. Well, the S10 I just had on, Paul, sadly they're like £100 to £200 now. A while ago they used to be £30. Ignoring the outserts, I think this S10 in particular, even though it's from 2009 with the satchel, I think this cost me £15 when I bought it. It was from a car boot sale. Right, I'll try again then. Yeah, there we go. I'll do that for you both on the streams and Discord Eltrix. Where's your name on the stream. I haven't seen you again for a bit. But if I control Hantavirus, there we go. I can make you a mod on here, add moderator, and I'll put you as a moderator on Discord as well. Thanks. There we go. For people that donate, yeah, it's just a thing where people argue for the most part. Yeah, I've been doing it since I think it was 2014. Was it 2014? It was when I was 21, about 2021. So I'm pretty sure that would have been 2014 sort of time. Yeah, that would have been about 2014, 2015. Because what, I'm 26 now and it's 2020. So yeah. Anti, thank you very much. You said advise 4573M is a very good and affordable suit. Okay, thank you. So is that for other people? 3M, let me look the 3M 4570 up because I've never seen it. Okay, so it's a bit like a Tyvek Tychem type suit thing, is it? But yeah. So I suppose if you can get one for cheap, thanks for the info on that. It'd be good info for people. So yeah, Anti's just said the 3M 4570 sort of disposable suit is very good and affordable. They look like they're $10 or pounds, so that's like a throwaway NBC suit. Quite a long time, Gab, probably like 10 years or so. What, because I've got glasses on, a bit of facial hair and a bald head, I look like Walter White and there's a thing behind me. I've been doing this look for quite a while though. It's not necessarily a Walter White, like, it's not like, oh, I want to rip off Breaking Bad. Yeah, you can just literally wash it in the sink. The thing is with most gas masks is if you wash them in the sink, they're not going to get damaged because they're designed to withstand horrible chemicals. Quentin Huber says, how much an Israeli civilian gas mask should cost? I would get one for £60. It seems a bit much. That's not too bad for one. With the prices of masks at the moment, £60 for an Israeli mask isn't too bad. You know, because everything's inflated in price. All right, Vladimir, how are you? What, Colin? Gas masks, you shouldn't hang them by their straps. If I have them hanging by the straps, that would damage them. If they're in a box, you don't want too much weight on them, but they're not going to get damaged. But hanging up, it puts tension on the straps and like the buckles, so that you know, can damage them. I've got a couple of masks that are obviously completely damaged and unwearable. I hang those up, and just ones that are worthless I hang up. But see, I've got some Soviet masks hanging up on the Lee Enfield, like the same ones that are on the poster. But I don't ever hang up good masks. Yeah, you can take the filters off, but even then, the mask's still not designed to be hung up like that when they're not in use. They're designed to go in a satchel and then be put in like a cool, dark place. In what regard, walkie-talkies and shortwave radios are never a bad thing to have laying about your house? Are you saying, should they be used? Up to you, as like a preparedness thing. In the UK, I managed to get an M40 for £100 once, sent from Germany. I think in the US, a lot of people are selling them for like $200 at the moment. There's lots of things that are useful to have, but should you budget for them? That's the thing. Lots of people, you know, have lots of very important real-life things to do. The ones I've got as spare filters, I store in the satchels, yes, with the masks. That way, you know, if ever I need to grab one, there's a mask and a filter together. But I also have a drawer filled with sealed filters still in date. What sort of stuff did you do there, Trent? Just dispose of hazardous stuff? Like put them in furnaces or whatever, or bag them up, drive them to a disposal site? What's Class 2 instructor saying all about? Unless you can get a sweet or bitter fit check kit. If I missed the first half of the comment, I've got isomale acetate, which would be the sweet part of a thing. What do they use as the bitter smelling bit? £80, just Mark II helmets. So you probably don't need to get a replica if you can get the originals that cheap. If you're somewhere else, they might be a bit more expensive. I hope you're rested all right then, Vladimir. But yeah, I suppose if you're helping prepare people for remote working, that's good, isn't it? Because then they don't need to go into an office and spread germs. I don't know if that would damage it or not, Direction. If you put it in a bag